power is only given to those who are prepared to lower themselves to pick it up, and I have never been afraid to bend when it leads me closer to greatness. I do not seek to understand the gods. I seek to understand the world they left behind for men like us to conquer. A woman is not defined by the man she stands beside, but by the strength she carries when she stands alone. Fear is a tool. If you let it control you, you are weak. If you control it, you become unstoppable. The gods do not whisper to the weak. They speak through chaos, through fire, through those who dare to listen. I have learned that a man's true strength is not in his sword, but in the choices he makes when no one is watching. A man must earn his name in blood and honor, or he will be forgotten before he dies. I am not afraid of death. I am afraid of a life without purpose, without conquest, without meaning. Love is not weakness. It is the only reason we fight as hard as we do. I have always believed that the future belongs to those who are bold enough to take it. Faith is not about certainty. It is about believing even when everything tells you not to. Do not waste your time looking back. The past cannot be changed, only learned from. A king does not ask for respect. He commands it through his actions. The world is full of men who think they are strong. Few are willing to prove it. You cannot build a future with people who are still living in your past. I have seen enough of the world to know that nothing comes without sacrifice. The gods test us not to break us, but to see who we truly are. A man who seeks revenge should first prepare 2 graves, one for his enemy and one for himself. You cannot become great by following the path of ordinary men. I have no interest in what others think of me. I know who I am, and that is enough. The strongest hearts are the ones that have been broken and still choose to love. Greatness does not come from comfort. It comes from struggle, from pain, from the will to endure. Chaos is not something to fear. It is something to embrace. If you want to lead, you must first be willing to walk alone. I have loved, I have lost, and I have betrayed, but I would do it all again if it meant becoming the man I was destined to be. You cannot love a man who is constantly chasing the horizon, because his heart will always belong to something greater than you. A man who seeks both power and peace will find that one must always be sacrificed for the other. To love a great man is to accept that you will always share him with his ambition. My father taught me that strength is not given by birth, but forged in the fire of hardship. I did not choose this life. The gods placed it before me, and I was brave enough to take it. There is no greater pain than loving someone who chooses a path that leads them away from you. I have seen the cost of power, and yet I continue to pay it because I know nothing else. The gods laugh at men who believe they are in control, for destiny is a river none can escape. If you cannot bear the weight of your choices, then you are not fit to make them. A true warrior does not fight because he hates what is in front of him, but because he loves what is behind him. Love is a battlefield no warrior can ever truly win, only survive. A woman sees what a man hides, and sometimes that truth is more dangerous than any enemy. I carry my father's name, but I must earn my own legend. I have walked among kings and gods, yet the greatest battles I have fought were within myself. You think strength is never falling, but true strength is rising every time you are broken. I have taken many lives, but the hardest thing I have ever done is live with the consequences of my own actions. Faith is not meant to comfort you. It is meant to challenge you, to test you, to change you. I once believed the world was small. Now I know it is endless, and so are the possibilities for those who dare. To be desired is powerful, but to be understood is something far more dangerous. A man becomes a legend not by what he takes, but by what he endures. I have never feared death, only the thought of dying without leaving something behind. You cannot hold on to love with fear, because fear will always crush what it tries to protect. I have been many things: a farmer, a warrior, a king. But in the end, I am just a man chasing meaning. The gods do not promise fairness. They promise only that the brave will be remembered. I have often wondered what the gods truly want from us, whether they guide us or simply watch as we destroy ourselves in their name. A life filled with love and loss is still richer than a life that has never dared to feel anything at all. I do not fear death, because I know it will come. I fear only that I will not become the man I was meant to be before it does. Every victory carries the shadow of what was lost to achieve it, and that shadow never truly leaves you. The gods speak through fire and blood, but men only hear what they want to believe. I have loved deeply, but love has never been enough to hold me back from the path I was destined to walk. To be chosen by a man like Ragnar is both a blessing and a curse, because his heart is never still. You cannot compete with a man's destiny, because destiny will always win. I have seen men die for glory, for love, for revenge. But in the end, death does not care why you come to it. My father taught me that a man's strength is measured not by how many he kills, but by how much he endures. I have spent my life searching for answers, only to realize that the questions are what define us. The gods do not answer prayers. They test the strength of those who dare to ask. There is a quiet strength in walking away from what no longer serves your soul. I have stood at the edge of death many times, and each time I felt more alive than ever before. A woman's heart is not weak. It is simply more honest than a man's ambition. I did not become king because I was chosen. I became king because I refused to remain ordinary. To follow in the footsteps of a legend is to walk in shadows, unless you create your own light. Power does not satisfy the soul. It only feeds the hunger for more. Love can make you fearless, but it can also make you vulnerable in ways no enemy ever could. I have betrayed those I loved, and loved those I should have feared. Such is the nature of being human. Madness and faith are closer than most men are willing to admit. I do not regret my choices. I regret only the pain they caused those who did not deserve it. A man's legacy is not written in the battles he wins, but in the stories told after he is gone. You cannot hold on to the past, because it will only hold you back from becoming who you must be. In the end, we are all just stories, and I intend mine to be worth telling. My life has been full of blood and ambition, yet in the end, all I seek is to understand whether any of it truly mattered. I have made many mistakes, but each one shaped me into the man who stands before you now, unafraid of what comes next. I do not fear death, because I know that I will be welcomed by those who walked this path before me. The gods do not promise peace. They promise that the brave will never be forgotten. I have walked many paths, and I regret none of them, because each one led me to who I am now. I have always believed that death is not the end, but a beginning for those who have lived without fear. The greatest battle we fight is not against others, but against the parts of ourselves we fear to face. I have seen the rise and fall of men, and I have learned that only those who dare are remembered. I stand here with nothing left to lose, and that is why I am more powerful than ever. To be chosen by the gods is not a gift. It is a burden few can carry. I have never been perfect, but I have always been true to the man I chose to become. A father's legacy is not in his victories, but in the strength he he leaves behind in his sons. I have given everything to this world, and now I am ready to take my place among the legends. You cannot live in the shadow of another's greatness. You must step into your own. I have chased greatness all my life, only to realize that greatness is defined by what we leave behind. The gods do not judge us by our words, but by our actions and the courage behind them. I have lived as I wished, without regret, without fear, and that is all a man can ask for. The name of Ragnar Lothbrok will live on, not because of who he was, but because of what he inspired. I do not ask for forgiveness, because I understand the price of the life I chose to live. To be remembered is not enough. To be respected, that is what truly matters. I have come to accept that death is simply another journey, one that every man must take alone. The brave do not fear the end. They welcome it as the final test of their spirit. In the end, I am not afraid, because I know my story will be told long after I am gone.